think everything's good to go. We're ready. We're live. Clapping should work today. Excellent. There's all kinds of people in the chat already. We did our... Well, I'm gonna use the... We did our best to keep you all updated that there was going to be a stream happening today. Better than usual. Trying to help YouTube out, do its job to let everyone know that this was going to be happening. And that's exactly where my sidekick comes into this whole situation. Let's just do... You need your own button over here. There she is.
Good morning. Hello. How are you? How's
So,
it going, everybody?
well, clapping for the adding of the sidekick. Just for the like to push those buttons.
Scott's here.
Scott Latine, hello. Plastic nerds, I like it.
Jose. Hello, Jose. Derek. Gang's all here.
Gang's all here. We're ready to go. Yes, the we. Jackie did a whole bunch of work to try to keep you all notified that these streams are happening. It's much more difficult than it should be, but nevertheless, we're glad that you're all here.
For the Arctic Parka Fund.
There you
Yeah,
go.
thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. Always coming in with the super chats. We really appreciate that. Thanks for the 10. And yeah, anything we can do to prepare for a winter battle, I'm all for it. I actually did buy a set of, my first set of overalls, you know, like the winter style overalls last week. I haven't had a chance to wear them yet, but I have to say that I look very dashing in overalls.
Is it Scott's birthday? Happy birthday, Scott.
Scott Latine's birthday?
Right. I saw something on Twitter. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yay.
29 again. So happy birthday, Scott. Good to see you here. Hopefully you're going to do something, you know, not saying that our stream isn't a whole lot of fun, but hopefully you're going to do something even more fun than this later today.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we doing? YouTube's telling me that it would really love me to show you some ads, so we'll ignore that.
Somebody wants to know if my mic is on. Am I reading? You guys having a hard time hearing me? Am I plugged in everywhere? Hello, hello. How am I doing, guys? Hold on, we're working on it. Oh, somebody said yes. Okay. Hi. Hello, everybody. Yeah, now we got it. Everybody's... Thank you. 5 by 5. Thank you. Nice, guys. Thanks.
There.
Somebody said I'm a little muted, or that I'm low, or that I'm far away.
I don't know why it changes from week to week, but there's a lot of action down here, so you never know what gets turned. So we set out for 2024 to do something, you know, just for fun, and that's where the bear frame is coming in. So last stream, if you missed it, last time on Chris's Basement, we built a bear frame. I just happen to have this awesome looking red one from LDO. And if you don't know what a bear is, the bear project is very unique. We can share links to the bear project if you've never seen one. But basically what you're doing, the intent was to take a Prusa kit, and this has been going on for a long time. That's why we're calling this an old school stream. But, you know, probably even back in like 2017, 18, this stuff was starting to go on. But a bear is an extrusion frame that you take a Prusa kit and you swap out all the parts over to the extruded frame to make it more solid, more rigid, just to give you some benefits. And the life of a Prusa, when we were talking more like the Mark II era, when we still had threaded rods and the flat frame and how it was put together, the extruded frame was much more beneficial than that setup would have been. Well, Prusa has evolved, and they use extrusions now. We're all the way to the Mark IV. But still, the Bear is a really nice platform to build any 3D printer. So there's the base for what we're doing. But what we're actually going to do is try to build something a little more custom, a little more of our own. And mostly it's just for fun. Now, having said that, I've looked around since 2 weeks ago when we did our last stream. I looked around a lot of the parts that I had, and I've had a few conversations with folks as well as trying to source some parts. I've also printed a few more parts. So I don't know how much customization we're going to be able to do, but we're going to make it interesting nonetheless. But a lot of those decisions are a little ways down the road, so we don't have to get into those decisions today. But today, what I'm hoping to do is we'll complete, I think I'm going to start by building the X, just the bare bones to the X gantry. I have a whole bunch of bearings to grease. I did clean them all up. So we'll do that. And then I should be able to get the Y carriage on. I did find a spare squashed frog. And we'll get the Y on, all the bearings, it moving around, and maybe even get the Z motors on. I don't know. We don't want to rush anything. We want to take our time, build casually, hang out, talk about things, and all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to do today. And just for the start of the stream, thank you everyone for showing up. And glad you could be here. So there we go.
All right. John O'Shaughnessy, as someone whose second printer was the Prusa MK2, moving to an extrusion frame was a huge upgrade. Basically the same really good quality at twice the speed of the default MK2.
Awesome. Yep, great synopsis coming from that machine. With the more rigid frame, you can control a lot more things and hopefully get you better quality and some more speed. Speed bump is always good. Unless it's an actual speed bump, and then I don't really care for those.
Dave Wilson's here. Hi, Dave Wilson.
Dave Wilson.
Yes.
One of my favorite peoples.
Yeah. Andrew Rogers is here. Hello, Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew already threw us a tip out.
That was thanks, Andrew.
I really need to organize these scenes. You think it's a good idea. I don't know how many people in this chat, there's probably quite a few of you that use OBS. But OBS is a very popular streaming software, and you can just kind of get as creative as you want with all the different scenes that you want to make. But I've made somewhere around 40, and I have no idea what any of them do, because of course I didn't label them. Why would I do that? So there you go. This is the view that I'm happy with. Okay, so we're going to get out the preparation H. And grease all these bearings first off. And this might look really dumb. These little printed parts that you put. I use this super lube that's PTFE infused. It's got silicone in it for a lot of this stuff, and it might look really stupid. But these printed adapters that actually have the slots in them to pack the little rows of balls inside here are amazing. So print one of those out. They're available on printables, but it's really handy for doing these kinds of things, especially when you have to do 10 or more at the same time.
A couple of people on here are saying that labeling is for people that are completely unorganized. So, or never trust labels, and labeling is for amateurs.
Well, what if I labeled it wrong? I mean, I can't trust. I have no quality control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I just saw that from Derek. Thank you, Derek. We'll let it read it out. But Greg is in the chat here, the creator of the Bear project. So thank you, Greg, for all the hard work on this. It is very well designed. The parts are impeccable. So well done.
Let's see. Joel Driver says hello, or
Joel,
is here.
Joel's here.
I'm sure he would say hello if he could. Joel Driver's here. And Jeremy Lucas is here. Hi, Jeremy. Scott says it'll be good with an E3D V6 hot end and DRV 8825s.
Oh, old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. We might in fact, I haven't even thought about the hot end. I wonder what I have laying around over there. We're gonna find out.
Mm-hmm.
Jinx came by and said thanks for some of the videos. That you were very welcome. I'm glad that stuff is helpful to others. Loud and proud. Right.
All right. 10 memberships gifted. Thank you, Derek.
I was waiting for it to read this
I know.
other...
It's not really, I don't know. But everybody's getting one. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bill Steele is here. If you don't know Bill, I've recently become one of the top people that take up Bill's time during the day, and I apologize for that, Bill. I promise it won't be forever. But Bill is the inventor of the 3D Chameleon, and I've been doing a lot of work on the Chameleon, and Bill and I have been going back and forth, and he has not only answered all my questions, but done it promptly, which is never expected, but always appreciated. And thank you very much, Bill, for all the time that you've put into this.
Well, and he also, I would say, Bill, thank you for helping tackle some of those comments on the Chameleon videos too. I really appreciate. It keeps things nice and tidy.
That's a tough job.
It is hard. So I really, and Chris does too. I really appreciate you getting after those comments. That's a big help.
Yep.
All those questions I can't answer, and and I get Chris when I can, but it helps that you take some of the burden off of us. Appreciate it.
I literally have to pay someone to keep up with the comments.
I just answer the ones where
you answer all of them.
Yes.
Bill asked what extruder we're going to use. I really haven't gotten that far yet. So I have built a bear before. It's right there. But that bear, Orange Juica, as I like to call it, it is just the bear frame. Everything else is Prusa. Of course, I self-sourced everything. I didn't kill a kit for it. But it's just a straight up Prusa Mark III. The only difference is the bear frame. I always kind of wanted to try some of the other bear-centric parts. So I have been looking at I'm not sure exactly what he calls it, it's the bear Struder, but it's basically Prusa parts redesigned by Greg. And I've never actually had any experience with one. So I think we might take a couple of different iterations here. I would like to at least put one of those together and see how it's going to work. But I also have a brand new orbiter over there that I've got my eye on that I haven't even opened the box yet. So it would be kind of interesting to incorporate one of those. I'd also like to do some tests. So I love stats. So if I did get one of the bear style extruders on, maybe take some weights and then flip it over to the orbiter or do something like that to just kind of get an idea. I've been looking at the new E3D one a little bit to kind of get some ideas of what that would change, because I do plan on using Input Shaper. So I don't know. We're going to experiment. It's going to be lots of great live streams that we can chat about this kind of stuff.
And he says, I forgot to ask last stream, with this being like it's 2019, will you be making this an updated CTC?
Andy, I have thought about that machine many times with you in mind, honestly. I really should get it out and show what I've done to that poor machine to try to get it to print at all. It's going to be a really, really long-winded video, I have a feeling. And it's going to take quite a bit of time, if it even still works, because it was made out of like paperboard or whatever, very, very thin plywood. I should do that. And I'll look into it yet again. It's sitting over there with an inch of dust on it. So we'll see. Revo Roto, James from Rush Runner 3D. Yes, and that's the one I was talking about. It's very intriguing. I would love to get my hands on one and try to incorporate it into this. I think the Hemera, the Bear Mera, the conversion they had for this, it's just a little too big for this design. But things have scaled down drastically since then, so that Roto might be really interesting.
See that? Andy says his is a TV stand.
It'd be a great TV stand. Yeah, Orbiter and Revo. There you go. That might be a good combo. I don't know. We're going to keep it old school. We'll see. We'll see what we can come up with. We'll see if we can get it printing. I know we can. I have full faith in us. We'll get it printing. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I've got kind of a junkyard full of parts. I just don't know how many parts. These are motors. need those quite yet. I don't know how many parts I can actually have a full set of to piece together. So we'll see what we can do.
All right.
And you only need, if you're just happen to be building one of these, you only need 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You only need 9 linear bearings for this build. I prepped 12 because I used the bearings that are around 40 cents each, and some of them aren't that great. So if we run into 1 or 2 that I don't like, we'll just swap it out.
There you go. Jake from State Farm is here. Hello.
Jake? Oh.
Orbiter 3.0 Revo is pretty cool. If it fits.
If it fits, that's always the question. What kind of cool mounts or whatever can we make for it? And Greg is here, so he might have to help me out with that. Oh. Yes, lots of engineering in the roto.
Yeah.
What to do with an Ender 3 frame? You can do all kinds of creative things with an Ender 3 frame. So as far as the X goes, these are the straight up bare parts. And I'm just going to get the foundation put together with those. We've got a lot of stuff we need to do here. So we'll start with, since I have smooth rods and, people were asking about linear rails. I'm not going to go that far, but I've got a lot of Prusa parts. So a lot of the bones will be straight up Prusa, but we'll see. That's going to be the fun part of this, is where is it going to go? So what am I looking for? There's some parts I was looking for. What do I want to do here? I guess I really don't.
Can you give me some examples of what to do with an Ender 3 frame except building another 3D printer? Gee.
You could build a heat insert setter. That'd be cool. There's a lot. I've seen a lot of mods for 3D printers. So if you do a lot of heat inserts, you could turn it into a laser cutter.
There you go.
Oh, you could do all kinds of cool stuff. I always wanted to like turn one into a automated press, like build it up. So like follow me. Like if you machine things, or if you've ever worked in a machine-ish shop, you've worked on the old arbor press. It's basically just a giant handle with a cog. You press it, you press things down with. And I try to explain these so everybody knows what I'm talking about. So you work on this giant press. Well, it only does one thing. You're kind of pressing some bearings and you're calling it good. I always wanted to build like a heavy-duty frame where it would be like a light press, like for pressing like bearings into parts or something like that. But it was automated, so you could move around the table and then have it, do the pressing, and then you could move around to multiple spots and it'd be super accurate. Probably a waste of time, but it might be kind of neat. I don't know. You could do all kinds of cool stuff. All right, let's just get some stuff out here. What you got there?
Oh, I'm chatting with Mike on the
Oh.
Twix. I'm chatting with Mike.
A finger squasher, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something that I've always, speaking of finger squashing, that's something I've always wanted to try to build, was an automated can crusher.
Oh, yes, I've seen those. So much fun.
I know, it would be really cool. It's like building a better mousetrap, right? Like what's the best way to crush cans?
We needed to take off the pop tab too.
Well,
I don't know
yeah,
if you can do
get
that.
really
you may
automated.
have to do that one yourself.
You'd have a whole assembly line of just doing things like that. But that talk about squashing a finger. Printed bushings and all. Nice.
Use the claw machine to remove the tabs. That's a good idea. Yeah. Someone had a cool can crusher at the Orlando Maker Fair last year.
Cool.
Yeah. So that would be neat.
That would be a cool project. I mean, there's not enough time in one life to do all the projects that I'd like to do.
Yeah.
But we can try. And you gotta stream them all.
You betcha. So our toaster died this morning. It was very sad. I was right in the middle of making breakfast, and you know how it is. You start the eggs and then you start the toast, and it just didn't happen.
No toasting.
No toasting. I had to toast in the air fryer, and that's not very good. It was just okay. It was slightly toasted.
It was still
yeah,
toasted.
it's sad. We lost an important member of the team. That's for sure.
Everybody's got a job to do.
So now I gotta order a new cheap toaster. So
You know, that's the weird things in industry. Like the toaster is a great example. The throwaway items in our life, and the toaster is one of those now, unfortunately. Like if you were to ask me, I need a good toaster, I wouldn't even know what to tell you, and I don't think a lot of people would know. You know, it used to be like you knew.
yeah,
Like this is the greatest thing ever.
yeah.
But is there a good toaster?
I'm sure like a Cuisinart, or I'm sure Cuisinart has something, and Sunbeam. I think that's a pretty good brand.
Yeah.
Somebody here said the broiler. I thought about doing it in the oven, Peter, but I didn't have time to fire it up, so I just got the air fryer out and toasted in the air fryer. It did okay.
It was fine.
They have smart toasters now with a touch screen. I don't
course
need
they
my
do.
toasters being smarter than me and micromanaging my breakfast.
Jetman is here. Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome. It is not a Mark IV frame. It's just a Bear frame. The frame, I think, in between all the different versions of Prusa, I don't think the frame would differ any. It would be just the parts and everything else. Yeah. What's the smart toaster? Now you got me.
Well, I've seen the ones with the refrigerators, and you can make your lists on the fridge. I don't need all that. My wife refuses to throw away any throwaway appliances. She has them repaired. Costs more than the toaster. I think I only paid $20 or $25 for it. I only got it because it's red. I wanted a red toaster, so I got one.
The truth is out.
That's true. Extremely vain. Well, I wouldn't say that's not really a vanity thing. That's just I like to look at that. But I'm about as deep as a puddle sometimes, I guess. I spend $25 on a red toaster because I like the color.
Well,
Red toasters are faster. Thanks, Mike.
life's all about zest.
I like pretty things in my kitchen. Like my pretty new pot slot holder.
Like your husband?
Like
No.
my husband.
Yes, your pot slot holder. I've spent way too much time engineering that. I mean, it's cool and all, but if I was getting paid by the hour, that would be the most expensive pot lid holder known to man.
Yeah.
45 degrees. I'm good with that.
Whatever Waffle House uses is a good toaster. I would agree. I think that's one of those fancy conveyor belt toasters.
Got rid of my lulzbots and upgraded to Core XY Clipper machines. What a huge jump in performance, haha.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially from Lulzbot. Benjamin Ford, thank you very much for the comment and the $5. if you've ever had the pleasure of working on an old school Lulzbot machine, I started seeing Lulzbot in like Micro Center stores, probably, I don't know, 15 or 16, and they'd probably been around longer than that. I don't really remember the time frame. But those were the first ones I started to see. And if you've ever had one or worked on one, they were quite expensive. And they're probably still expensive today. I don't know. It's kind of a different company now. But back then, it was... And Robo was also kind of that way. But they were building with what they had on hand. And that's, I mean, that's, of course, that's what you would expect, right? But comparing them to the machines now, where all of the parts are somewhat sourced specifically for this build, to then where they used really large bearings, they were standard measurements. You know, they used all these different parts. It's like, you know, it's like working on an old pickup versus like, you know, a new import of some kind. And the old Lulzbot was really loud. I mean, it had really but I mean, they used like a mini Rambo board on a lot of those, or just a regular Rambo. So the drivers were somewhat involved, but the current was turned up way high. I mean, it's just like night and day compared to like what he's talking about. Any of these new Core XY machines, it's incredible to see how far we've come in just a handful of years.
Andy still uses his toaster from 1989 when he was in. That's good old German engineering, Andy.
It's a German toaster?
He says when he was stationed in Germany, he bought a toaster. I'm going to assume that the toaster is German. It's right up there with the Mercedes-Benz. The Mercedes-Benz of toasters.
Could be.
Yeah. And the Taz 6 was a full-size Rambo and crazy loud.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of machine I'm talking about. They were interesting. And expensive. I don't even remember what the price point was on one of those, but I know that they were, you know, around $2,000.
I don't know. No, I think I'm gonna have to invest in the toaster's name is Heinz. I think I'll probably have to invest in a better toaster, I guess. I don't think this one made it a year. Maybe right at a year. I honestly can't remember, but yeah.
I can fix it.
You think you can?
No.
Oh.
But I could try.
Nah.
I can make it really broken.
You can bring it down here and apply it to your work down here.
We can toast things while we wait.
Yes.
Can't eat dinner tonight. I'm really full of toast.
Maybe it's just a fuse.
I don't know, because it won't. It could be.
You
I'd
said
have
it
to
won't
crack it
latch. I don't know if did the heaters turn on. Did you try holding it
No,
down?
it's completely dead to rights.
It's a goner. Yeah. Do you put that in the recycle? Is
I
that a
would say not.
recycle album?
I don't.
Recycle album. Recycle item.
I don't think so. I don't think that there's anything in that toaster that you would want to recycle.
Turn the toaster into a chamber heater.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
It could be done.
Tinker your toaster.
Tinker your... that don't sound right. Tinker your toaster.
Yeah. Lightspeed really wants you to fix it.
Already?
We'll see what we can do. Save the toast. God is a hashtag. We'll see what we can do. I won't throw it away. Maybe it'll be backup toaster. Toaster hot end mod. You guys are too much.
See, you gotta
I got everybody going.
get a bunch of people in a room like this, and then something's broken, and everybody thinks they want to fix it. I love fixing things.
Put
Don't get me
Clipper
wrong.
on the toaster.
Yeah, I love fixing things, but not that much.
Yeah, Dave, you're a Clipper man.
Dave
Dave
will
Wilson.
Don't even mention that, because Dave will be over here wanting to fix the toaster.
With Clipper.
Wait, there's no need, Dave. We'll get another one. You devote your time to
Joel
something
wants
else.
us to stop building the bear.
Get that toaster down here right now.
Go get it.
Well, it's also
Dave's
red.
on his way over.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Oh God, what have we done? Guys, the toaster's fine. Just kidding.
See what happens?
It's a toaster basement.
That's all I do now. Repair toasters.
Scott says, with Clipper, your electronics become a toaster all by themselves. Woo!
See, we can talk about anything.
Funny.
There's all kinds of things you could run with Marlin. I'm sure it could toast just fine.
Yeah. Well, you got it nice and toasty down here. We started at what? Just under 60 degrees, and
We're 68. Yeah, it was 61 this morning. We're at 68.9 Fahrenheit.
my temperature here on the
If it was Celsius, we'd be dead.
Oh, but I just dropped. Forget it, guys. My little temperature gauge said 65.3 on my side, but I'm sitting right in front of the space heater, so not too bad.
That's my worst case scenario thermometer. If it's on the dryer and the dryer's not running, I figure that's probably as cold as it's going to get.
Well, it's right by the window and the door.
Well, it's got its own vent and everything. So.
Yeah.
Breaking stuff.
I am throwing things around. Hi, Maker Viking. How are you?
Thomas is here.
Hi, Thomas.
Can you toast it on a heated bed? No, I don't think. I mean, you could fry it.
Well, I think it would
I can
crisp
get a.
up, but I don't think it would toast.
I got a heat gun that would make amazing toast.
You wouldn't get the color, I don't think.
There you go, toasters. I have seen that. Now that Scott mentions it, that's a great point. It's been used to convert toasters into reflow ovens for like solder. So it'll make toast. I
Well,
mean, if
then
they can
there's
do
another
that.
use for this thing.
That's
We're
right.
gonna save that for future live streams. We're gonna mess some stuff up. Hi, Tom Llama. Ugh.
Welcome to Chris's Basement. If you just joined, we're talking about toasters.
Toasters and fun uses for them besides toasting bread, and ways that we can toast bread without a toaster. So there you go.
All these things.
Use the heated bed for the eggs.
There you go.
I could probably scramble eggs on a heated bed.
Keep your coffee warm.
There you go.
That's the best.
Flying
The
toasters.
best use. Flying toasters. There's a throwback. So here's a good conversation, and it's all about you. So I was introduced in computers like I saw a computer and I wanted that. You know,
Mhm.
like I went to Radio Shack as a kid and like wanted everything there, and I really wanted the computer, and it really didn't do anything but like, you know, you could type a document and print it out on a 9-pin printer. That's really all that I knew that computers did, but I still wanted one.
Yeah.
How were you introduced into computers? Like,
Oh.
like is it like, oh, that's just a thing that they forced me to use at school, or like, I mean, if you really don't have a need for one, why? You know, what's it matter?
Well,
I just liked it, but
I was in the 3rd grade and we got a computer lab, and they were the little Apple computers with the very small screen.
Yeah, like 2Es, the old
Yeah, if it
school,
reminds
like Oregon Trail.
look like a tower. Well, Oregon Trail came later, but
Okay.
in the third, they were the smallest monitors, so maybe like 6 inches or maybe a little larger, but it looked like a tower with a monitor on it. Does
Okay.
that sound familiar? Am I on something? I don't know.
I don't know the
And
Apple
then,
stuff, so
yeah,
I mean that could be
so
possible.
I would have been 8. And honestly, I don't. They were kind of used to help us learn to read better. I mean, like you learn to read in kindergarten, at least like, CJ and Run. You
Right.
learn that in kindergarten. But like, I seem to recall learning to use them, but like they were more of an aid to help us learn to read.
Hmm.
And to get us used, I think, to a typewriter. I don't think the mouse was around yet, was it?
At
With
that
those
time,
early
I don't know. I don't think so.
apples. Anyway, we had a computer lab, and
I remember learning how to type on them.
yeah,
Like, but those were the Apple IIe's. But like you'd have like a fun day where you got to play Oregon Trail, and that would have been like 1987 or 8.
right. Well, that was around the 4th and 5th grade for me. I'm a little bit older than you. I'm 3 years older than you.
Yeah.
So that would have been around the 5th grade that we had. Apple had a little 1-button mouse. Yeah, I think I remember using it, and I remember using the arrows. So learning the arrows. And I mean, it had a little keyboard and everything with it. It was a little green and black one, little green and black screen.
But outside of that, you really never had any considerations for computers. Like, I'm gonna get one at home and I'm gonna do this.
Purely out of necessity.
Okay.
I learned to use it because I had to. But I mean, and then I got older in like chat rooms and stuff like that. I mean, but that would have been like after high school, internet type stuff.
When things really got crazy.
Yeah, when things got, and then I had an
Everybody had
interest
one,
in
right?
like, but do them for your schoolwork. You do them for it just replaces a typewriter, that kind of thing. No, I never really, never got into it.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can only speak from my perspective, and it's like anything computer, I wanted that like now, which of course we couldn't afford, but it was always good to dream.
Oh, we got into gaming consoles now there.
Well, that's a whole other level.
But that's not for anything. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wanted Mario.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's what the 80s were about.
Yeah.
Excuse I'm going to mute mine and
All right. Macintosh to school in 1984 in 7th grade. That might have been what we used, 84. So I would have been 6 when I got an 80. Yeah, it would have been 1984. 87. So Lightspeed, you said 87. Is that where I saw? Yeah. Apple II. I'm guessing that's what that was. 87, 88. That would have been 87 when I was 8-ish, 9. So there you go. Windows 95.
those were like when getting into Windows and stuff. That's like when computers were actually computers.
First computer was a Timex Sinclair 1000. What the hell is
Whoa.
that?
A watch?
Wow.
Well, it could have been.
Probably. Well, they did. Didn't Timex come out with that little calculator watch?
I don't know.
Was
There
that
was a couple of companies that made those. I don't know about Timex.
Logo, a program called Logo.
That's funny, Joel Driver. I also started on DOS 3.3.
Uh,
VIC 20. There you go. I had an old laptop that was a VIC 20.
We were still using floppy disks. That's right.
Yeah.
Now it's all coming back to me. We learned how to load the disk and find it on the disk. And when you were starting your little programs,
Yeah.
you get your disk and get it out of that little paper sleeve.
Yep.
And put it in there. And then when it popped up, you had to find it on your screen and hit it. And yeah. So, I mean, we did learn some basic computer skills. Poly 88, Apple, you've started something here. Mac SE.
Figured there'd be some conversation on that.
Yeah. Cassettes to load your programs. Now, I did sit by the radio and record songs. You request a song, and then you sit by the radio and you wait for him to play it. Hopefully, he tells you, and then you can. Yeah.
I just had a thought. So, I was getting ready to say, there was an old lady that ran our computer lab. And now that I'm thinking about it, she was probably like 30.
Oh my God, I know.
I was like, 8. So, but anyway, there was a lady that ran our computer lab, and if I brought my 5 1/4 disc in, she had a little thing to punch a hole in the other side so I could flip it over and write on both sides, which was probably illegal.
Probably,
but it doubled
still.
the space so I could write it.
Yes, and Tim Rice says, and inevitably, I can't talk today.
Inevitably,
the DJ would talk while the song was playing.
Of course.
Always. You could never get a clean recording, or they didn't. It was just one song leading into the other, so you missed the first 2 or 3 seconds of the song that you're trying to record.
Well, then, I don't know about you, but like forever now ingrained in my mind, when that song comes on, I hear the start or the tail of the other one that was on that same tape.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it was like VCR tapes. VCR tapes. People would, like, when I was a kid, people would record, that was a big thing to record, like, Showtime and whatever onto the tapes and then give it to your friends. I had a tape that had Empire Strikes Back and Back to the Beach. So I can't, on the same tape, so I can't think about either one of those without the other one. It's really dumb, but
It's funny.
Back to the Beach. What a crap movie.
We had a whole bunch of VHSs that we would record off the TV too. My mom was dating a guy that had 2 VCRs, so we could rent movies from Blockbuster, and he would. So that's how I got Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, he's actually got these labeled. Those guys over at LDO, they're something else. They're on point.
You could rent a VCR, yes, in a giant suitcase. Yeah, I remember that. You could rent gaming consoles too. You could rent a Nintendo, well, at the time it was a Nintendo.
I rented PlayStation 1 so many times, I could have definitely afforded to buy one, but I didn't. I just kept renting it.
Yeah. Yes, we've come a long way. That's for sure. Oh, my friend Geraldine, the Lightspeed says his mom dated a guy that had a laser disc. My friend Geraldine, her parents had one. They look like giant gold records.
Our school had one.
And they had a projector TV in their basement.
Nice.
And yeah, so that was kind of neat. Your school had a laser disc player?
Yeah, we had a laser disc. I don't remember ever using it, but we did have one.
Yeah. Yeah. Hans says, Friday nights, the anxiety of going to the rental store to see if the NES game you wanted to play was on the shelf or maybe in the return bin. I always check the return bin first.
The return bin.
I don't even bother going to the shelf. I still, because for us, the Blockbuster, it was right when you walked in the door.
Yep.
There was just movies set up on if it's set up on the counter, that means it's up for grabs. and they just haven't had time to put it away yet. But you go through and you look, make sure, see if your movie's there. Now I didn't rent Nintendo games or anything like that, but movies for sure. Check that return bin on your way in, and then you can go to the shelf. Maybe you get lucky.
Everybody had video rentals though, because I remember like going to Food Barn when I was a kid. They had a rental section.
Well, you remember Holiday Video?
Oh yeah.
They
yeah.
had. I mean, they didn't have a lot of like first run movies, but they had a ton of movies.
And they were all like $1.
Yeah, and it was super cheap, and they weren't they didn't draw a hard line on your return either. You know what I mean? Like, as long as it got back that
Right.
day, they
Yeah.
didn't. I mean, like Blockbuster got really bad about.
Well, they got sued over that whole thing.
They
I think.
did, yeah. Blockbuster got real bad about hitting you with fines if you brought it back after noon or some kind of stuff. Well, then you had, but I don't know about y'all, but the one we had to deal with, it was they had to check it in. You know what I mean? So maybe you returned it, but that doesn't mean that they checked the movie in.
Right.
So that kind of, yeah, they'll get you. But
Be kind. Rewind.
be kind. Rewind. Hollywood had a monthly deal. I remember Hollywood Video. They did. Blockbuster went under because they hated their customers. I agree. They have in South Africa is Blockbuster and Mr. Video. Mr. Video. I kind of like that.
Huh.
We had a Holiday Video, which was just a one owner, just one guy that owned a bunch of movies, you know. And then they had an indoor miniature golf too. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like a little fun center.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like I said, they didn't have a lot of first run movies, but they had a ton of movies to rent. And then we had Blockbuster and Hollywood, which we really liked Hollywood. Dave, Hollywood Video was much better. Netflix killed Blockbuster. It sure did. Yeah.
Yep.
I owed Blockbuster money.
Like half the country.
That worked out well for you, didn't it?
Who
did you get any
wins?
movies? Who got a movie or a DVD from Blockbuster? And then they went under.
Kept it.
Yeah, us too, Andrew. That's what mom and pop. That's a good way to, yeah, just a little mom and pop video store. That was Holiday.
There's a little place right up the road from here called Aardvark Video.
Oh, I remember Aardvark.
And they had like, that's where we always went because they were cheap and they were, you know, just a mom and pop place. It was just, they just had the one store. And, it, you know, they always had popcorn and the guy sat in there and chain smoked. And so the popcorn tasted like nicotine. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember most about Aardvark Video was that how smoky it was in there. But anyway, they had like 10 NES games, and I had played them all 4 million times. But it was like they were like $1.50. Like I could even afford it as like, you know, an 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, US robotics modems. Heck yeah.
3D Experiments says there's still one Blockbuster left in the United States. I had heard that. I heard it was in
It was like Alaska or something,
where they
right?
can't get internet.
Yeah.
Or something. Lightspeed got Goonies. Good for you, man.
Cherish it.
That's right. I would never let that go, and I'd keep the case that it came in. Oh, Scott worked at one of those mom and pop video rental places.
Nice.
That's probably not a bad job if you're a kid. I mean, I could think of worse things to do. I was waiting tables when my first job was at a Ponderosa.
I was a janitor. So
Yeah, you were a janitor. And then you were loading tapes.
I load tapes. I could load tapes like nobody's business.
I see you at 17 running tapes. I could totally see that.
Heck yeah.
That was your destiny.
Back when
It was in Oregon, and they think it closed during the pandemic. Well, that's too bad. They were inexpensive, Peter. At least I can say that. They were all right. They did okay. It depends on what you ordered and how you ordered it, too, I would have to say. But it was okay. Had the buffet.
Ponderosa was good.
Ponderosa, they had
They
the
had those
really
little-
good chicken wings.
They had those little chicken wings that were amazing.
Yeah, they had a nice salad bar.
Don't get me going.
Yeah.
I'm way too hungry to talk about those chicken
I
wings.
worked at Ponderosa for about 5 years. And I had a lot of fun. I was 16 when I started there, or 17, I think, and made some friends. And first time I had my own money, I blew it all.
The only reason why I've told this story a billion times, the only reason why I actually got a job, I was 15, is because my computer was out of space and I needed a 1.6 gig hard drive in the worst way, and it cost $260.
Oh my gosh.
And I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to afford this thing ever without getting a job. So I got a job, and I've never not had one since, and it sucks.
Sandy, my sister, warned me. She said, Jackie, once you don't want to work, because once you start working, you're never going to stop.
Never going to get out of it.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Well, Paperboy.
Paperboy's awesome.
Lightspeed started washing dishes. You know what? That's first job. Washing dishes.
I have some really cool Z motors somewhere. Where are they? Here's one of them. Where's the other one? Oh, I need one for now.
Ponderosa went out of business, in like the early noughties. They might have made it to the 2000s.
Yeah.
They had to have, because I was still working there. So it would have been the early noughties. They went out of business.
I still have to wash dishes. Exactly.
No
Every
kidding.
day.
Yep. Load the dishwasher, unload the dishwasher. Burger barf. Yikes. Andrew, the dishwasher, that seems to be the one. You know what? Restaurant jobs were the easiest to get. 3D Experiment says, I was paid to code since I was 15. Finally retired after 37 years. A brutal career.
15?
Yeah, I bet it was.
Jeez.
$4.25 an hour. Mine was, because I was a server, $2.13 an hour. But I think minimum wage was like $5.50 or something when I started working. Mike Fancy's first job was picking strawberries. Good thing you were young. That sounds kind of grueling.
Sounds like you get stung by bees a lot. Just first thought.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Restaurant work is fun. You meet some of the best people. Not the customers, the people you work with. But yeah, you meet some really good people there, and all kinds. And they're a different breed, I'd say. I was in the restaurant business. I waited tables and bartended and did that for a long time. And it's good.
If there are any questions that come by, shout
Oh,
out.
well, I am. I'm watching. We're just talking about jobs and money and restaurants, high school jobs. Yeah, now it is a career, definitely. You can do it if you can do it. I'm old and jaded and I can't do it anymore. But if you can, I've known servers that have been doing it since they were teenagers and will do it forever. And I mean, like that old gal from Chili's, you know, she's been a server forever and ever, and she's just good at it. And if you can still do it, then by all means. But it's tough. At the John O'Shaughnessy pumped gas, and he said the gas station, he says, I don't think you're cut out for this as a career. And he said, why? And he goes, because you wash your hands after every customer. That's funny. Oh, filament on fire, sorted laundry. He worked in the laundry room.
I could see how that would have its pluses and minuses.
Yeah. Yeah. Coding was a special level of hell. Is it? I wouldn't know.
Depends what you're coding.
Yeah.
Some of it I like, some of it I don't.
GM, 3D Obsession, GM. My first job was milking my uncle's cow, but I was too afraid to milk. I was 5. His uncle paid him anyway.
I wouldn't.
Gee,
I don't blame him.
yeah. Dishwasher at a Friendlies. We don't have those here.
Friendlies.
It's like
That's one I don't know.
I think it's in it like a Shoney's or like a breakfast lunch place. In Friendlies a buffet. I don't know. Oh, Jeremy worked at a dry cleaners. Joel Driver was a bike mechanic. See, I think this tells you a lot about you. What was your first job? Gas station. Sean O'Shaughnessy went from gas station to control data core.
There you go.
QA for customer computer-based training software. There you go. Ice cream restaurant. Friendly's is an ice cream place. I couldn't remember. So. Oh, ice cream / lunch place. So like a counter. Get a burger. Where are the Friendlies? Where were they? Is that a West Coast? Shoe store clerk. That was back in the day when somebody handed you a shoe and you went and got it in their size.
Back when malls existed.
Yeah.
Everybody I knew worked at the mall.
Yeah.
Back in the
Oh, it was a soda shop, but it was like ice cream. So you could go in there and it was an ice cream shop. Nice.
There you go.
That would probably, I don't know how that would go over now or not. I don't know.
Nah, nobody leaves their house anymore.
Yeah. First paying job. Well, yeah, we all work from birth. We have to work. Seafood department at Kroger. I did my stint working the seafood counter at a Sunfresh. I didn't make it very long. I got fired. It's in the Northeast, by the way. Friendly's is in the Northeast.
They just followed the directions that Greg put out there. This would be a lot easier.
Hi, Hans. Glad you're here. Now he's allergic to shellfish. Well,
I'm allergic to work, so.
Glenn says we had snow this week. Snow in Alabama means everything shuts down. I got out on Tuesday and Waffle House was open. The service wasn't very good, but I made sure to tip extra good because they made it in. We're kind of getting to that point now where the city sort of shuts down when it snows. I mean, not quite like the southern states, but
The Midwest, it's always a panic when it snows.
we have had some serious cold snaps. Last Saturday, it was like below 5, -5, and then snow. And then Sunday, it was even colder. So maybe not that cold, but it was 0, like too cold to get out. And then Sunday, it was even colder. And then, but all week this week, it's been cold. Real cold, like below 10 degrees cold. Today, the high is 11, I think, and it's currently 5 degrees right now. That's in Fahrenheit, by the way. So, yeah.
No good.
Yeah, cold.
Don't
But
like it.
next week, we're going to be in the 40s, so we might
Next-
thaw out a little bit.
Next week, it'll be 105.
That's right. Welcome to Missouri. 27 degrees in Dallas. That's a little chilly for you guys. I don't think that's out of the scope, though, is it? For Dallas weather? Probably not this time of year.
I talked to Walter on Thursday, and Walter's the kind of guy, if you've ever met Walter Gray, he's the kind of guy that picks up the phone swearing. You know, he is who he is, you know, all the time. And I picked up the phone and he was swearing at me about it being cold there. And he's like, you can just keep all that up there. And I'm like, because he's in Florida, he's in the Tallahassee area. And I'm like, how cold is it? Because I was expecting him to say like 50. You know, he said it got down to 20. So I was pretty shocked. They don't usually get that cold. So even he's cold down there.
go. I see that. -2 in the Netherlands, which I looked it up. It's about 28 degrees. So, well, I have a hard time because it's so dry here. I cannot get enough water. Like, I'm just dry. Skin is like paper.
is just I agree. His justification for blaming me. I'm fine with that. Hey, Shane's here.
Yes.
I want to print like it's 1999. Did they even have DeskJet printers back then? I know we personally didn't have 3D printers. They were around, but I would. That's kind of funny. What was it like when in 1999 for Shane?
Tripod's here. Hey.
Hello. I keep getting sidetracked. I blame chat. Walter can blame me. I'll blame chat. I need a screwdriver that preferably won't stab me. How about this one?
The Year Without Summer.
What is that?
I'm supposed to look it up. Shane told me to look it up.
Oh.
1816, known as the Year Without Summer, poverty year. And 1800.
Is he teaching us a lesson?
Froze to death. The eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia in 1815 triggered a change in the global climate. The heavier material fell to the ground and the ocean surface. Yeah? Alrighty. Make it a little chilly around here, wouldn't it? That's interesting. Shane, the other Shane, not the same old one, is the one that told me to look it up.
I was going to say.
Yeah, there we go.
Not that I'm saying that Shane doesn't know stuff, but...
John says we put boots on our dog Oreo for the snow and ice. It's been nothing but hysterical watching her walk and run. Yeah, they get that. We put socks on Hinky when it's real cold and there's snow on the ground. If it's real cold and it's just grass, he does okay. But if it's snow and it's real cold like this, then we got to put socks on him because it burned his little feet. Poor little guy. We were looking out there and it was real cold and we looked out there and he's just got one foot up.
The older he got to, the less he could tolerate it.
Hurt his feet. And yeah, we were going to get to the point where he just wouldn't go at all. And he was a good boy. If we wanted him to go out, he went out. But we had to put socks on him and he did okay.
All right. So I got that part. The X was kind of the part that I was concerned about what parts I might have to assemble it. But it looks like I have everything, so we're good there.
His dog, Bear. What kind of dog is Bear and what kind of dog is Oreo? Tree, we are building a Prusa Bear.
What am I missing?
MK3 or MK4?
It's mostly 3 parts.
Mostly 3 parts.
It's gonna be a little bit of everything.
Oh, there you go. John has a German Shepherd, Black Lab, Alaskan Malamute mix. That's quite the number. And then Oreo, we believe, is a pointer mix.
Nice.
Bird dog.
All right. Let's do. We started on Y last time. Let's finish the Y stuff up. What did we do? We got that on. Oh, that's probably what I was waiting on, actually, was going over to get those parts, and I just went and got those. Okay. So we're good here.
Where do I find the Revo 6 serial number and batch number?
Revo 6? A Mark Chris edition. Exact.
Oh, negative 10C for
Ooh,
if we were doing well. Let's look that up. What's negative 10?
Mark for a bed cable.
14 degrees. A heat wave. Maker Viking. 14 degrees there. That's not.
3D printing like
It's
this.
pretty cold. That's just miserable. It come early for us. We were just talking this morning. The cold, really cold. So in Missouri, it has been my experience. Now, I don't know about anybody else's and whatever, but in Missouri, I feel like we get a real wicked cold snap. I mean, like where it's below zero, cold to the bone for about 2 or 3 weeks at the end of January and early February. It's just nasty, bitter cold. For 2 or 3 weeks, and then it seems to have come early. Like this whole last week has been really, really cold. So either that's a sign that, and then we still have our regular 2-week snap, or maybe we're come early and we're gonna get it over with. That'd be all right too. I don't mind 30s and 40s, especially when the sun's shining. It's not so bad. But boy, I don't like that cold. Maker Viking says it was below 30, negative 30. There the other day.
George was talking about batch and cereal.
Cold. Real cold.
I don't know if somebody answered him or not.
What's that?
He was talking about batch and cereal. I don't know what those numbers might be. Honestly, I don't know much about Revo anything. I have like one. I have not converted anything over to that. So hopefully somebody in chat helped.
George says he's trying to get in contact with E3D about his thermal anomaly issues. Zoe Nerdhouse says they still have a OG Prusa Mendel.
Nice. Old school. Just move out of the Arctic Circle.
Andy says the worst day that he's had is -7. 20 degrees for you. Well, I would take a guess that the UK is similar to the Pacific Northwest here. Similar, rains all the time. Doesn't get awful cold. Maybe it does sometimes. I don't know. Andy, tell me if I'm wrong.
Coastal, well, a lot of it is probably
coastal. Yeah, you're close to the ocean, and that's going to keep you a little warmer, I think. But I honestly, like I said, could be wrong. I don't know nothing. Never been over there.
I need some belt. I have some small sections of milk. I don't think I got anything big enough over here for that. I really need some more shelves to organize this stuff.
Andy said they had a dusting of snow the other day and people freaked out.
I'm freaking out.
School's closed.
Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. All right.
Scott, you're too funny. The PNW has a persistent chill, maybe due to the Presbyterianism. Funny.
Now, now.
Oh, yeah, let's not start that, right? In Southern California, it's 66. That sounds lovely.
Now, if we want to see people throw shade, just start bragging about Southern California.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Chris Practical Printing. We haven't seen him today, have we? We were.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
He's not recently moved, but that was always his. He was always throwing his Southern California weather in our faces.
But it was 24. It did get below freezing last night. Yeah, a little chilly. Big dip. Oh, John will be listening. He's got to clean the garage, so you can just listen and hang out.
Nice.
Pop in every once in a while and say hey.
We'll be here.
Eddie does not like the snow. He ran out to go to the bathroom, stopped and looked around and ran back in the house. That sounds about right. Did he at least go? We got to get number one. I used to tell Henke, you can come in, but you got to give me at least number one.
You're bartering with the dog.
Yeah, I was. Well, if it was raining, you remember he didn't like to
yeah.
go out in the rain. He's like, Henke, you got to go, at least number one, and then I'll let you in.
It wasn't that he didn't want to go. He just wanted to see you commit. He wanted you to come out there with him.
You think so?
Yeah. If I'd go out there and stand in the rain with him, he wasn't so bad and so angry about it.
Well, I didn't do that. Yes, those are carbon fiber X-rails, aren't they? Are those? Yeah,
They're not carbon fiber. They're just
they're
black.
not. What did you have that was carbon fiber?
Coated.
Huh?
They're just powder coated.
Oh, well, didn't you have something last time that maybe no carbon fiber on there at all? I thought you had something last week. Maybe not. I don't know.
Not recently. I don't think. No, they're not carbon fiber. And we looked around on the internet and could not find these. And I think it's probably because the black wears off fairly quickly.
Oh, that's right. We talked about it.
Yeah,
then.
but we talked about it.
We discussed it. Music Dad, hi. Yeah, that's all right. We're just hanging out.
That's the main. I mean, people. I'm sure a lot of people are. Why are they building this? Like, well, mainly it's just so that we have something to do and hang out with you all.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Go outside? I wouldn't go outside if it was nice.
Zoe Nerdhouse says the high desert has violent temperature swings, and it's not uncommon in summer for it to be below freezing at night and then 110 during the day. When I went to the Grand Canyon, it was like that. It was August, and it was 80, 85 during the day, and it got down into the 40s at night. And then when we went to Colorado, it was like that. Got pretty chilly. I mean, that was in June.
Yeah.
When we was kind of southern Colorado, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
And it got pretty chilly at night. I didn't mind though. I mean I don't mind.
I love the high desert.
Yeah. Yeah. They are not painted, right? Powder coating.
Yes, they are powder coated.
Mm-hmm. Are those all original Prusa parts, or did you print them?
The printed parts are Bear parts, printed by me.
Ah, there
So
you
they're
go.
part of the Bear. And I guess we should like share a thing to what a bear is.
That was the same 3D experiments that was like that when we were in Colorado in June, that people that went up to Pikes Peaks was saying there was still snow up there.
Oh yeah. What am I doing?
Thank you for sharing that link.
You're welcome.
Bear, 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 bear. Joel, look at Joel Drivers.
All different kinds of bears.
What is the cost of the electronics and the extrusions? I think it's what you make it, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you can do just about anything you want. I mean, you could turn this thing into a. So these frames are pretty expensive. I want to say like $150. I want to say, but for like the LDO frame, that's whatever color you want. I think that's what they cost. You could build one of these frames, I don't know, for a lot less than that, and you can put whatever electronics you'd like on it. You could go very affordable and still have a pretty decent 3D printer. Now, as far as motors and stuff, that I mean, it just kind of depends where you want to source it from. All this stuff is from LDO, and LDO is not the cheapest in the world, but they make really good stuff. Plus, they're kind of one of our. You know, I'm always, and that's another topic we could talk about. I'm always very reluctant to say we have sponsors. We don't have sponsors. Nobody pays us to do anything. But we do have partners. And there's a big difference, and I know it might not sound like it, that we're just playing with words here, but we do have partners that treat us really well. LDO being one of them. They don't give us any money or anything like that. Same with Big Tree Tech. They're our partner. They are not funding us at all, but anything we might ever need, they are more than happy to provide. So it's a great relationship to have. And I have never, ever had any of them say, hey, you need to say this about this. They've never said anything like that. And a lot of companies have. Recently, in fact, I think last week, somebody asked me to say something if I did a video for said thing. I won't do that.
Yeah.
So it's just really nice to have these companies that believe in what you do and let you do it. So.
Yeah, there you go. And I think partner's a good word. I mean, they send you stuff that's new, and we're going to send it, and they hope that you do a video on it. If you don't, then, I mean, they've never once pressured you to do anything.
And I do my part as well as for them being my partner. I buy things from them. Right? Like if I need to source things, I will buy it from LDO or Big Tree Tech or whoever it might be. So, I mean, it's not like I get everything for free, but they've done things right, and I feel comfortable showing them on my content. So let's put it that way.
Somebody had a question here, and now I can't find it. I already asked that one.
Where's the other 16mm bolt? Because I don't know that. Bill Brothers is here. What's up, Bill?
Any way to run Prusa's Marlin build on the Bear? I think we
Prusa's Marlin build on the Bear. You mean like just straight up Prusa firmware? Orange Juicer runs straight up Prusa firmware. I upgrade it when Prusa puts out updates. It gets the same upgrade that a regular Mark III does. So yes, you can run Prusa firmware on these. The problem is it's pretty difficult to do it if you don't run their board. You can do it. There's branches out there for other types of main boards, and there's some very similar to the INSI board that you could run it on. But unless you're running an INSI, it's pretty hard to keep up with their firmware. So there you go. You can do it, but probably not the easiest thing to do.
What's the build volume on this?
250, 210, 210.
There you go. Tom
least
Llama
right
says, "You mean if I send you another clock, I can't get you to say it tells time?" We might, but we're not obligated to. Tripod says the same thing. He says he buys from his partners all the time. You get loyal, and they send you stuff.
Absolutely.
Maybe you use it, maybe you don't, but we're just gonna put this right here.
Well, and not so much. Big Tree Tech, I know some folks over there. They're a company that's mainly based in China. I mean, and I know some of those folks. Luke is a great guy over at Big Tree Tech. I've met him. He's from South Africa, so I don't see him very often. So I don't know them very well. But a lot of our partners, I personally talk to them and I know them. Right? Jason from LDO, I talked to that guy. He's awesome. So I love buying from those guys. Printed Solid. They don't really send anything over. They have in the past. We've done a lot of business. I buy all my stuff from them. I just love those guys. And they have good deals. It's a give and take. It's a good position to be in.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Motorhead Mitch says all the electronics he uses is Big Tree Tech.
They're really hard. Oh, they're really hard to beat for what you get. For the money you have to put out for all the features, it's hard to beat the Big Tree Tech one. Now, not everything has been perfect. They have had some that were just not great. But I think recently they've done a lot better job at ensuring quality on things. But yeah, it's hard to beat for the price point. It's hard to use anything else.
Yeah. Music Dad says I'm refurbing my MP Select Mini. My Z moves perfectly when not printing, but barely moves at all during print. Any suggestions I can look at? And then he says I have tried different slicers.
It moves fine when you're not printing, but not when you're printing. Yeah, because I mean, I've heard of issues like that in the past from other people, and now I'm trying to think of what we did to correct it. I don't know, maybe people in the chat have better ideas than what I can think of at the moment. There's so many windows on this screen, they can't even see what's going on, but I need to get closer to the center. I've got too much stuff out now.
Scott says that Big Tree Tech has been very supportive in the open source efforts, which is good because they make 783 different boards that we support. That is good.
I remember talking to Scott about that. Like as Big Tree Tech was coming up, they were putting out a board like every 5 minutes. And I get involved in some of those things like that, not necessarily to the capacity that Scott or Keith would, but it's like, hey, how do we make the pins work on this thing? They don't even have files yet, trying to make some of this stuff work for content. And I'm glad that they're supporting you, Scott, and open source, because yeah, that's a lot.
That's the way it should be, and that's the way it should be.
From our stance, where we're part of this wonderful community, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Now, if you have to make money, probably different. But for us, just having a good time, that's how it works for us.
Is Tronixy X5 SA worth the cost to upgrade up to a VZ Bolt?
VZ Bot. I don't know, man. I stay away from Tronixy anything because it tried to kill me one time. There's memberships. Awesome. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks,
for
Gregor.
5 memberships. Yeah, Raspberry Pi Foundation with Platform IO. That would be interesting. They should. But anyway. I think those kits are super affordable. So if you could find one of those kits, at least you would get I don't know exactly which kit does what, but at least you would get some motors, a power supply. You might be able to salvage the board. I don't know. If it was affordable, you'd get a lot of parts that you needed to build your other printer. And I've heard some people have success with Tronxy machines, but not directly out of the box. So using it as a kit to build something else, I think you're fine. Just don't pay a lot for it, and you'll be okay. Mm-hmm.
It's getting cooler down here. I can feel it.
Getting cold?
Well, no, I'm all right. But where the space heater is, my legs are nice and warm, but my back is getting a little cold.
Yeah.
I'll be all right. I mean, when I say cold, it's still 65 down here. I'm not freezing.
We've already been going an hour and a half, so
we're doing all right. I can go get something if I want to. He said he found the X5 SA on the curb in my neighborhood and thought it might be worth it.
If it's got motors and stuff on it, heck yeah. Scrap it. Get all the parts out of it. I mean, at least keep all that stuff. That's what I'd do. If I saw any 3D printer on the side of the street, I wouldn't be able to help myself except go get the parts off of it that I wanted.
You think Dad says I should turn on the dryer? That's not a bad idea. I might get a blanket or something to put around the back. Just something to insulate a little bit. This is that mesh on my back, so I could probably I'm fine. The octopus is a workhorse. He uses the Pico in my Select Mini, and I want to find a use for a Kraken so I can try it out.
Nice. Yeah, I think Octopus has kind of set the stage as kind of the board standard. If you want to hit it with
sorry.
If you want to hit the need with a sledgehammer, go Octopus. It's affordable, and call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
The wife agrees.
Yeah. John is here. Hey, John. There you go. Mike says you should save any 3D printer from the curb. You have to save it from the curb.
Mm-hmm. We're not there yet, where the 3D printers are just sitting around in the garbage.
He can successfully get a print out of it about 1 in 20 tries. Well, then it's worth it.
There's always that one printer that just hurts you over and over, but you keep going back.
Mm-hmm. Did you go out tonight, John? Or are you drinking at home? He says he's drunk. All right, man. Go get him. Sounds
like a plan.
Yeah, go to it. It's pretty late there anyway. Uh-oh,
Yep.
my battery's running low. Did I plug in? Oh, it sure did. Hold on just a second, guys.
Want me to flip it, or you got it?
All right. I forgot to plug it in. There we go. Now it's going. It's 2:00 in the morning. Drinking at home and playing games. There you go. That sounds all right. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Only sleep.
What do we always say? Nothing new after 2.
Nothing new after 2.
Definitely an addiction. Yeah. Back in the day, my buddy and I used to say the quest for the perfect print. And I can tell you, prints look a whole lot better now than they did then.
we've been all right. Just kind of hunkering down. It's so cold here right now that we're just kind of laying low. So nothing too exciting for us.
Not much going on.
Not really. Been very cold here, so we don't do much. We had dinner at home last week. We did chicken strips. Tonight, I think you mentioned Mexican for dinner tonight.
Might have to venture out today. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
awful cold though. Just stay home and eat some crackers.
That's about all we have to eat around here is crackers.
I'm fine with that.
I buy whatever I'm cooking. I don't keep a lot of food around here. What's on the menu is what I buy. So yeah, yes.
Yeah, somebody, Music Dad's talking about Tennessee. Ricky Tanner was talking about how much snow and ice they got.
Yeah, I guess you guys get freezing rain. It's not cold enough to snow, but cold enough to freeze. That kind of stinks. That's what Mom and Sandy get too. They get freezing rain.
No, I've never seen that video. That would be interesting though. All right.
Freezing slush. Yeah. We're building a Prusa Bear. Yeah. I got a deal from Wuxen for $200 of their printer. Should I get it even if I don't have the room or really the money? Yes. No, I don't know.
I don't know. I like Wuxen. I have one of those. I always call it a WRX. It's a WXR. I have a WXR. It's a cool machine. And the new firmware and everything, I think it makes it like super fast. They're trying to be like the king of the bed slinger, that's cool in itself.
Yeah.
If I was needing another printer, I might look at Wuxen. It's definitely not a bad machine, but if I didn't need one, I don't know if it'd be the first choice to feed my addiction. This is a little tighter than I'd like it to be.
All right. Trying to save up for a vehicle. 4x4 trucks are expensive. Yes, even used ones. All cars are pricey right now. Everything's expensive right now. Yeah. That's good. 3D Obsession, us too. A little snow, cold, but warming up next week in the 40s for us too. And I think we're going to have 3 days where it doesn't even get below freezing. So but it's going to rain. So maybe we'll get rid of some of the snow.
It's like
That'd be all right.
paradise. I'll wake you up.
Yeah.
Delta bots? I haven't seen a Delta bot in a while.
Matt's Makerspace. Yes, we are making a bear.
Making a bear.
Making a bear.
Just like Build-A-Bear at the mall.
Yeah, yep, yep.
I'm gonna put a little overalls on it.
John says, we will keep repairing our vehicles. Way better than these mortgage price car payments. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and commit.
Bill Brothers is here. Did you say hi to
Yes,
Bill?
that's a hood Bill.
All right. We were just talking about that. He says he hates making payments on depreciating assets. I feel so dirty when I do that. Yeah, cars are a bad investment.
Horrible. It's like the worst investment ever. But you pretty much got to have one.
Yeah.
At least in our part of the country.
Well, I'd love to be able to walk everywhere or public transportation. That'd be fine if it were. It's just not practical here in Kansas City. Yeah. That's
pretty good.
We got to drive.
I'm happy with that. Not happy with that grease. Because once that grease gets on your hands, it never comes off.
Yeah. You might be like put a little Dawn dish soap. Might be able to get you.
No, permanent, never coming off.
All right then.
Okay.
All right.
Back to building.
Where are we at?
We have the Y carriage on, the bearings, the route. Now I have to get the spacing for the motor mounts and the tensioner just right. That shouldn't be that big a deal. What about the front one? Front one we say is 51.
Wayne Kneeling says hello.
Hello. How are you, Wayne? Since we can't have an actual back and forth conversation, I like to finish them myself. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. $51. Man, I couldn't have eyeballed that any closer. Maybe I measured this before, because that is dead on.
You're just that good, honey.
I'm that good. You heard it first.
Christian, did you hear the news about all the poor Tesla drivers? Yes, I did. Did you hear about the Tesla drivers in Chicago?
No.
Got so cold in Tesla that the battery, or in Chicago, that the batteries in Teslas froze. So people had to just leave them.
Oh,
like,
man.
They're sort of abandoned. And,
They didn't think of that, huh?
yeah. Did you ever own an ANET A8? You did.
I did.
Yeah.
It was the first printer I live stream built. I think it took me like 8 hours. And then it was the first machine we ever gave away. I don't know who owns that now. It might be long since dead.
Alan Warwick says, hey Chris, I used your video to set up Stealth Chop on my Voron 2.4. Only issue is now is the ABXY motors scream when moving at certain speeds. Have any input, perhaps?
It depends. What kind of scream is it? It kind of depends. So, and Clipper handles, and he did say Clipper, didn't he? I think.
No, he didn't say anything. Nothing about the firmware.
If it could be a lot of things. If it's like a belted printer, it could be the belt. You're hearing the slop in the belt after when it moves so fast, but that really shouldn't be related to stealth chop or spread cycle. I would be really curious though if you went back to spread cycle, if it went away. I mean, I guess stealth chop could introduce some sort of slop that was causing that at speed, but you would have to be missing steps. So I'd be curious if you flipped back what it would be like.
John wants to know, with lead screws on an MK3S Plus, they vibrate something chronic when going down, and they have black residue. Now, vibration right from first print. Not sure if it's racked or something.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Like you've got something rubbing. I mean, it vibrates some on the way down, but yeah, that sounds like something skewed, and you're like, it's either, I mean, the residue, depending on where the residue is, it could be from the belt getting a little chewed. But if it's from that palm nut, definitely something's just a little bit off. That don't sound right. Or maybe, I mean, if it was from the factory, maybe one of those screws is a bit skewed, which I haven't really seen on those because they're short. But if it's something new that's popped up on the machine, I would definitely get Prusa to get you some parts.
I fried the PWM fan output on SKR 1.4. Does the SKR 1.4 have any other PWM outputs that can be remapped?
I believe that's going back a ways. I'd have to remember what it has on it. I don't remember if it has multiple or not. That was kind of one of the things they added on later boards to give you more options for PWM. So I don't know if 1.4 has anything that you could swap to. I'm going to say it does not. You could, I don't know, you could kind of fake your way through it if you added some sort of MOSFET breakout or something like that. I could look at the pinout real quick and tell you.
And then John, back on his thing, it's the lead. The screws were clean when opened. It's on the lead, he says. He was talking about the
screws.
Yeah, I can say you're following him.
I don't think put all these. Yeah, there it is. 1 and 3 and 4 are in the same thing. Yeah, okay. Bill's stepping in with 1.4, very few PWM, and that's kind of what I was thinking. They have a lot of like always on. Yeah, now I remember. So you've got 0 and 1. 0 is your PWM, that's the one you probably burnt up. What I have done in the past, I don't know if you're using heaters or not, but like old school ramps, you would have options for 2 heaters, right? So you'd have 3. You have a bed, extruder 1, extruder 2. And I very rarely ever use 2, so I would use those heater pins as a controllable fan. So you could switch over to HE1 and use that as a fan instead in your config file. That would work if you're not using it. So But no, there's really not a lot of options for PWM on 1.4. So there you go. What was John saying? Tension.
Oh,
Thinking tension too. Oh, maybe. So maybe it's being pulled in from the center. So if the tension is too high, it's on the lead. The screws are clean. Were clean when opened. Yeah, it could be that belt tension in the center is too high. That pulling them in a bit. Sounds really odd though. Maybe there's something just a little bit off. There you go. Good questions today.
hey, John Strand. How are you? Welcome.
Y belt. That's on. What is this? M325. You do get some parts with here. I should go through these instead of self-sourcing.
Yeah, or say like you're doing, replace your parts with those parts.
It's all parts nowadays.
It's all parts.
The bottom has a 30 on it.
What'd you say you were doing with those laundry cups?
You know, my laundry cups?
Yeah, what are you doing with those things?
They, when you buy Tide, you always get the laundry cup. So we've got like 4 or 5 of them. And I washed them out and I used them to soak all the bearings in alcohol. And I used them as like a little scrub bin. They worked great.
Good.
Reuse. And they're still sitting here and they will be forever. Until I have to wash some more bearings.
There you go.
Never had one lesson.
We're talking about weather and stuff.
All right.
Yep. That's about it. It's cold in Florida. Like 50. Cold for them.
John, you're quite a ways south, I believe, in Florida. I don't remember now.
We went to Key West in February once, late February, and it was in the mid 70s. It's gorgeous. Really nice. 40 miles south of Georgia.
Oh, okay. So you are not. You're north. I was gonna say we were just talking about Walter. He's
He's in Orlando, isn't he?
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
He's 45 minutes outside of Tallahassee.
Red Light was in Key West in December. How was it? Probably still pretty nice. That's right. 50 degrees is shorts and t-shirt weather for us in the Midwest. Flip-flops. -4. That was about 75. Yeah, nice. Real nice. How many different color printers do you have?
Color?
Like bears, you mean?
Bear frame? This is only my
Orange
second
and
bear
red,
frame. Orange
yeah.
and red.
He's 80 miles. John Strand is 80 miles east of Walter.
Okay. There you go. Learning my Florida geography today.
You bet. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Key West is special. it's cool down there. I mean, like it's a neat place. Very, I don't know, quirky.
I got a buddy that moved down there when he retired. Unfortunately, they got devastated by the hurricane. I need to follow up with him and see how all that's going.
Yeah, some people just do that. They wear shorts year round. I don't get it, but whatever. Do you guys have any funky allergies? Just thinking of sending something your way, but want to check if you'll explode if you eat a peanut. No allergies.
No,
we're good.
All good. Explode if you eat a peanut.
No, we don't have any food allergies.
No.
Scott Lathine says the most important thing about going forward will be the color of the printer, especially when Apple releases the iMake. Are they making a 3D printer?
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me. A proprietary 3D printer?
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Learn your lesson from other proprietary 3D printers. I don't want to name any names.
We don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
All right. The iMake.
My brothers would wear shorts year round. I don't get it. But Mike Fancy wears shorts year round.
And he's Canadian.
But his print room is 90 degrees, so only for quick trips outside this time of year. Yeah. Thanks, John. Yeah, John says, all right. Scott Lathine says, psst, Apple, call me. Get in there, Scott.
When I get online and the Marlin site has been shut down and it's been pulled off of GitHub and it just says closed source to now, then I'll know Apple has offered Scott $4 billion.
That's right. That's right. And we would, I think everybody would understand.
And I would be accepting any of the overflow that he might have in his pockets.
Yes. We did Red Light. It was me and my mother and my sister and a couple of friends that went to Key West, and we did like the chickens. We went to a breakfast place, and there were chickens running around there, chickens and roosters. The chickens just run around Key West. Like cats. Although there's cats too. You can go to Hemingway's house and there's cats all over. The six-toed cats. You remember that? How about those Chiefs? Yes, we play again tomorrow. We're getting there. I don't know if we're going to make it to the Super Bowl this year, but we'll see. We got Taylor Swift now.
What is she, left tackle?
No, but she's brought a whole lot of fans to the NFL. I can tell you that. We got a whole lot more Chiefs fans now because of Taylor.
Could be really sad when Taylor's not here anymore and it's just football.
Well, maybe she'll write some songs about us, and then it'll be all good.
Can't wait. Exactly.
John Strand says Taylor who?
Exactly. Do a what now?
Uh-huh. But wait until Taylor gets into 3D printing. That's why I need to go to the games. I need to make friends with Taylor Swift so she can bring all her followers, bring all the Swifties to the 3D printing.
And no one will still know who I am except people that come to the stream.
Oh, Taylor's going to be there this weekend at one of his places. Not on Sunday. She's going to be in Buffalo cheering on our boys. Pretty excited. Swifties to the basement.
Swifties. I don't know about that. The bear build really makes me want to get some gummy bears, though.
Yeah, if she has, yeah, she has. She's brought a lot of notoriety to the Chiefs and to Kansas City and to the NFL and merch and everything. I mean, like she brings the fans. She's helped. She's helped, and I know that football fans get tired of seeing her on screen every time, Travis does anything. But but she does bring notoriety to the NFL and to the Chiefs. And I heard Travis Kelce's Instagram followers went up by like 500,000 followers because of her and merchandise and everything. She's, what kind of music does Taylor Swift sing? Pop, top 40 stuff. She used to do country.
Better stock up on glitter filament.
That could, yes, we're going to need it. Red glitter.
On to the Z.
I've always loved the red and gold. Very nice. Yeah, that's cool. We'll see how we do. I don't know if we're going to make it this year. It'd be fine if we did, She may have, Andrew. Honestly, I don't know where I know she started with country music. I don't know if it was Christian country or not.
You kids and your newfangled music.
I probably haven't listened to her music by choice. That's probably true. She's a young girls, 13-year-old girls.
Who buys all the records.
That's right.
Well, not anymore.
A obsession from Trump. Yeah.
How are we doing? Oh man, I looked up and it's dead on 2 hours into this stream. I think we'll be ready to start building extruder parts for next stream.
Yeah. Yeah, she done well for herself, Scott. And I think she's actually, from what I've seen, you don't know, right? You don't know her. I don't know her soul. But I mean, like, from what I've seen, she seems to be a pretty nice person, pretty grounded for, a billionaire. As grounded as she can be. I think she's probably all right. She seems like a pretty decent person. Nice to people. Oh, John Strand is leaving. Take care.
See
Have
you,
a good
John.
one. Chris Travis, his 15-year-old loves her music. I hear what's on the radio, and it's fine. I like her. Ah, they share a birthday. That's interesting. Maybe it's lucky. What are
Wait.
you doing over there?
There's something you're supposed to not do when you do this. What was it? supposed to like tighten these other ones up before you do this because they would be in the way. There's an order to this now that I think about it.
Yikes. Yes. Hydrate. Take some ibuprofen before you go to bed. That's what I do. That's your trick, isn't it, honey? Drink a big glass of water and 2 ibuprofen before bed.
It'd be as good as new.
You might do all right. What's the difference between a Bear and any other Prusa machine?
The Bear is made out of all 2040 aluminum extrusion, including the top Z. So even on like the Mark IV, the Mark IV has a injection molded type frame. It's a little thicker, but the other ones just have a flat 6mm aluminum frame. All of these have the Z that's extrusion as well. And if you go back to like Mark II, where they were just using threaded rods to put everything together and, mate them up on that flat frame, it's a big jump if you used an extruded frame. Now, a lot of the Prusa printers have, 30-30 extrusion, things like that. So it's just it's a really sturdy way to build a base for the i3 style Prusa machine.
There you go. Red light, thanks for coming. See you next time.
See you later, red light. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm missing. For some reason, I was thinking that you had to line these up somehow, but you don't.
Good. Yeah, it takes some of the sting out of your hangover a little bit. But if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. It doesn't really matter.
Ibuprofen will at least let you get some sleep.
Yes, it'll help you sleep.
Not that I've ever had a hangover before, ever.
Neither have I, ever.
Nope. I definitely won't have one tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. This thing's starting to look pretty awesome.
Good.
It's all red and black.
I like the colors. It looks cool.
And black and red.
Mm-hmm.
It's even got some sparklies in it.
Bears were around when MK2s were out, so Bear frame was huge advantage over threaded rods.
There you go.
Would you agree with that statement?
Huge advantage? I don't know how huge, but it was an advantage.
If you guys are Chiefs fans, why do I not see more gold parts on that pretty red frame of yours?
Chiefs who?
Yeah, because Chris doesn't like football, and I didn't think of it. Oh. What is the origin of the Bear name? Do you know?
I do not know. That would be a question for Greg. I don't know if he's still
Is
here.
Greg still around?
I hope it's Haribo related, because Prusa always gives away Haribo bears.
Oh, perhaps gummy bear.
I hope that's
A gummy bear. What do you call that? A reference?
Maybe. I don't know 100%.
Chris, what kind of you're a baseball man. He wants to know what kind of sports you like. You're baseball.
I really don't like sports. I mean, I'm not a huge sports fan. I do like baseball because you really don't have to watch it that close.
You watch some NASCAR. You watch a little racing if it's on.
A little bit. NASCAR though, and we've probably talked about this before. This thing's so greasy I can't even turn it anymore. NASCAR, when I was a kid, even it would be on. That's what was on Sundays, right?
Scott says you're into curling.
Curling is
I
pretty
do like
sweet,
that game.
really,
That is a
but-
pretty good game. There's a curling place over on the Kansas side.
No way.
Yep. Well, you could go and
Missouri?
play. Yeah, Mary showed it to me. She wants to try it.
Oh, jeez. Anyway,
Yeah, there we go. Less than 30 days until the Daytona 500.
but NASCAR when I was a kid, like it's always been really boring to me, right? It's cars going around in a circle and all of that and everything. But back then, like when Earnhardt and Ernie Irvin and all those guys were around, they would get out of the car and punch each other in the face. I mean, like you never knew like what was going to happen on NASCAR. Like they would show these guys getting into huge fights. I don't know that they really do that much anymore. So as a kid, I was like, yeah, he's gonna be in trouble, So that's how I kind of got to keeping an eye on NASCAR, was in that fashion. But
Sergio's here.
hey, Sergio, I don't know that it's that way nowadays.
They do John, they do a race, don't they? Now, you NASCAR guys, Mike Fancy, you would know this. They do a race where they run 200 laps, go into the left like normal, and then they run in the opposite direction. What is that called? A shootout or something like that. You guys would know that. Yeah, I think it's,
Sounds dangerous.
It may or may not count. But it's a silly race, I think. And I thought it was right around the Daytona 500 where they do that kind of, that race.
Michael, no.
Yeah, he would. But I thought they had one where they ran the track backwards. So they do turn right. Well, and Mike says lots of right turns on the road courses. Yeah, but like NASCAR, whatever. How can I con/bamboozle my wife into taking a part in my 3D printing hobby obsession like you have yours?
Took me many, many years, my friend.
Yeah, he just wore me down.
I honestly, and I know my wife is right here, so shh, don't tell her.
Yeah.
She's part of the Chris's Basement business. So I mean that's kind of I think because I used to do all of this myself when she had her own job, like she was doing her own thing, during the day and all of that stuff. So we did separate things, and that was completely fine. But I don't know that if you still, if you were still working you had your day job and everything, if you would still come to this stuff or do this kind of thing. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe.
It was the festivals that really, I think, that got her involved in it, though.
Yeah, well, it's the personal side. It's the talking and and chatting and
the technology, not so much. But you go and you go to these things, and everybody's your friend, and everybody wants to chat. I mean, that's a lot of fun. So maybe start there. Bring her to a Rep festival.
There you go. Bring her to Murph. That's the best one. And hang out. Bring her by the booth, and we'll hang out. F1 racing. What do you think of F1?
I don't know anything about it. I mean, I think it's pretty cool, but I really don't know much about it at all.
Yeah.
Al Lancer Jr. That's the only guy I know.
Yeah. Who's the boss? He is. He's the boss.
Of what?
It depends. I run the day-to-day. He makes the big decisions. So there you go.
Tony Danza.
Tony Danza.
What was the gal? Judith Light? Was that her name? I think.
Yes. I know her name was Angela on the show.
Or Angela.
There you go. He says, somebody here, American football bores me. Andrew Rogers says baseball, occasionally F1, and when I get the time, rugby. American football bores me. Yeah, I can see how it wouldn't be all that. There's a lot going on in between actual playing. And they've tried to speed up the games a little bit because there's a lot of him haul between plays, and I could see why it would bore you.
That's really the thing that I find most interesting about baseball is they play 160 odd games a year, and those guys get out there and do it like almost every day, over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a contact sport, but it's not easy either. So I think that's more of what interests me in the whole baseball process is like, what are they going to do to make it this whole season?
Yeah. Well, it's the long game for baseball. You know?
It's more of a chess game.
The long game, and
people give it credit for.
Well, and the anticipation of,
who's hurt this week.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of swapping and trading and stuff like that. You never know who they're going to get. But I don't follow it very closely.
A lot of people like soccer. Pig races. They have those at county fairs, and they're hilarious.
County fair.
Those little guys are fast. Or at the fair, at the state fair, they have pig racing, and those are fun.
We're getting close to where I wanted to be for today, so that's kind of...
Well, there you go. I never really got into rugby. I mean,
I
I've seen it played, but cheese rolling?
Cheese rolling.
That might be something I'd be good at.
I think you have to, like, chase it down a hill or something. I think I've seen videos of that.
Well, RS makes. Have a good day. Thank you for coming. Any tips for a first-time builder? Got the frame waiting for my right beside me.
Any tips for a first-time builder? Watch Chris's basement over and over and over in a loop. No,
Hi, Bob. That's okay. Yeah. They could let baseball players juice again. You'll get insane home runs. I gotta admit, the game was pretty lively.
I don't like to see him do that, but
I do like home runs and fights.
I do enjoy home runs. And they were a lot more passionate about the game back in the day. Let's say that.
The pine tar incident. That's all I'm gonna say about that. George
upset.
Brett, the pine tar incident.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure he had some influence in that massive hissy fit that he threw.
Don't get me wrong, they still get upset, but not like that.
No, not like that.
First time builder. Now that question's... What would I tell a first time builder? Try to stay off of Reddit.
Scott's making a campaign for rugby in the United States. I'll watch it. Why not? What were you saying, honey? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was trying to think about, well, like, if somebody was building something, what would I tell them to pay attention to?
Squared up.
Yeah. Try to keep things square. I don't know. I don't know why I'm struggling with that either. I'm too jaded by being immersed in this. If I had to do this at the beginning, I can tell you what my first experience was like, and it was a nightmare. My first printer was one of these really cheap kits, and it had a lot of acrylic parts, and it had over 100 little bitty baggies of different types of hardware. And I remember like I built it at the kitchen table, and I lined the whole counter trying to organize all these little bags of parts. Fortunately, I hope that you don't have that same experience. Things are much more straightforward now. Things have changed so much. I was too focused on, like, one, I was amazed that it even worked, right? Like, you could actually make a part. You could get something out, and they looked really bad. But I was more focused on that than anything else. Huh. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on that now. Now I'm reflecting.
Yeah.
But what would I tell a new builder? Maybe that's a good video topic. Run fast.
Yeah, I would say don't rush the process. Take your time, like anything else, though. Take your time. Make sure it's done right. Yusuf wants to know what kind of rods we're using.
These are just regular old smooth rod, Prusa smooth rods, but I bought them a long time ago, and they are black powder coated, which last stream we figured out they no longer sell them, and I'm guessing it's because the coating comes off with the bearing rubbing on it. I couldn't find them for sale anywhere, but that's what they are. It's just the set I had, so that's the set we're using. This thing needs a little tap.
Where did you get the pin for the x-axis adjustment?
The pin for the x-axis adjustment. Oh, the little dowel pin comes with the Bear kit. Greg, the part that Greg made. Hopefully you're talking about that part. The idler that it has a pin in it instead of a screw. Those pins come with the Bear parts. I think you can buy those pins over at Printed Solid, but those do come with the kit. I need just a little tap. Little tap. But I need something soft so that I don't ruin anything. Block of wood.
I have a Bear upgrade. Should I go Prusa hardware? Want it to be cheap without the headache.
You have headache in one hand, cheap in the other. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different parts. If you can go slow, like if you can tolerate the speed of taking it a long time to build, source a little bit, put it together, then you'll realize what you need, source a little bit more. And that's probably the easiest way to do it on the cheap. But doing it, being able to get it together quickly, there's really no cheap way to do it. Even if you bought the parts without buying the kit is actually more affordable, and just using that kit to build. But sourcing, unless you want to get on AliExpress and find every part, it's going to be tough. On the Orange Juica videos, we actually have a bill of materials, like where you can get all the parts. That doc might help you. Probably those links are way out of date. But there is a BOM out there for the Orange Juica, if you want to check that out. That might help some. Just a little taparoo.
Mm-hmm. Does it have a spare? I want to put that on my MK3S Plus without the Bear kit, X-axis motor mount, and the other end. And then, is it expensive if you buy all the Prusa parts?
Yeah, I would guess if you had to buy these and you weren't really, you weren't really careful about where you bought and what you bought and the quality and all that, you probably spend way more. Like we're talking like close to $1,000. Does it have a spare? No, there's just 2 in there.
Yep, Chris has got his hammer out. Now we're really building.
Now we're building. This is how you quilt. Hopefully I don't break this printed part. The smooth rods in this Z part are really tight. That's what I'm doing. And I'm trying not to break it. What were you telling me this morning about Back to the Future and somebody else? Who's going to be Marty McFly? The kid from Spider-Man?
Tim something. Spider-Man. Let me look
Back to
here.
the Future is a very important topic to me. Anything. But I guess they're going to make a Back to the Future 4. It better be good.
Let's see here. What's his name? Well, now this is maybe it's not
Not set in stone yet.
no, maybe it's not set in stone. The one that we saw this morning was, who's that kid? Let me look here. Tom Holland is who they're looking at.
Holland.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Scott says Tom Holland's like 35 now. Well, maybe he won't be. I saw another name here, though, a Casey something or other, who was playing in Back to the Future, the musical. So he did Broadway. This Casey something or other was doing Broadway, so they may have him.
Back to the Future, the musical. Can you imagine all the amazing songs? About going back to 1985? It's Huey Lewis in it.
I hope so. Did you hear about Harrison Ford putting the kibosh on any Indiana Jones remakes? Because they were gonna
He has the power to do that, huh?
Well, apparently, because they were gonna do it with Chris, that guy you don't like, Chris Pratt. Is that his name?
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, they were going to do it with Chris Pratt, and he was going to be the new Indiana Jones, and they were going to start making movies again, and Harrison Ford said no.
Huh.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, how much say does he have in the franchise? I don't know if he owns anything or not having to do with that franchise, but I mean, apparently enough influence to...
Well, Lucas sold all that to Disney, right?
Yes, but I mean, apparently enough influence that Harrison Ford says no. So there you go.
Look at this.
Beautiful,
Amazing.
beautiful.
Just the aesthetics.
Looks real nice, honey.
Yeah, we're getting there. Well, I've done like way more than I thought I was going to do today.
Harrison Ford is pretty cool. So, I mean, cool enough to have some influence on whether or not they do reboots. And you're right. It would be weird. They'd have, I mean,
It's going to be really weird.
movie magic if they were trying to do Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford. That's for sure.
Well, didn't they already do quite a bit on the last one? Like, as far as movie magic goes?
It seemed that way.
Because they showed him young for
What
like
did you
the
guys
first
think
20
of that
minutes or
last one?
something.
It was the time something dial of destiny. It was okay. Meh. I don't know.
I know that when we went to see it, I was worried at the beginning because it was young Harrison Ford. I'm like, is this going to be the whole movie?
No, yeah.
And I'm fortunate that they showed him old and cranky, which I enjoyed.
Yes.
Because that's my future. If I was as cool as Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Well, it seem like too there was a whole lot of build up
Yeah.
and then it's over. And then, yay, everything's okay.
Of course.
The Majestic has a paywall on it, John, and I did not look for Rain Over Me. I'm gonna Google it when I get upstairs, but the Majestic has a paywall, so I'm kind of holding out to see if I can get away with not paying for it, because I do want to see it. Giveaway time. Yeah, it'll sooner or later it's gonna pop up. I have Netflix and Hulu and Peacock and HBO Max. It's gonna pop up sooner or later. I know it is. Oh, no, I did see that one, the number 23. That was pretty good. Yeah, not bad.
Which one was that?
It's a Jim Carrey movie, but it's sort of like do you remember
Probably not.
it's hard to describe. It's sort of a thriller, but it's one of those mess with your mind type. It's a twisty turny kind of. It was good though. Thriller horror. Good. Yes, there you go. And but it's got a lot of, it's a thinker. You got to pay attention. But it was pretty good. I did like that one. History of Violence. I've seen it, I think. That's the one with that's the is that the one about the Russian mob? Yeah. All right.
That's it. I think we've done everything we can do for today. Well, we're right at 2.5 hours. How's everyone feeling? Hopefully well. There's everyone's still okay with the bear build. We have discovered that we have quite a few parts, so that's good.
All right.
Anything else?
Yep, that's it. Vigo, that's the guy's name. And yes, American History X. That one was disturbing, to say the least. Bear's looking good, John O'Shaughnessy says. I think it's looking real good. Are you happy with your work so far?
I'm happy.
Good.
I like all of the black and red.
You're gonna need a bigger cabinet.
Yeah, you're right. That's all right. Orange can go there.
Yep.
He's just holding the space right now.
Moving right along.
All right, so we've got pretty much all of the motion stuff done. The next one we'll have to build the extruder. We'll get that done. I still have to look around for some parts for that. We'll see what I have parts for. Then we can move to basically electronics and wiring it up. Big Tree Tech said that they were going to give us some choices for main boards. So we'll see what they bring. And I have a few different options for that, so we can figure that out. That's the least of our worries. But yeah, we do have to build the extruder, hot end, all that good stuff. We'll see what I have in stock. But it's looking good so far, and it's going to be a good time. So 2 weeks from now, we'll be well into February by then. So we'll be good.
Yeah, let's look here. Next time, 2 weeks, February 3rd.
Excellent. Right after Groundhog Day.
Yeah, February 3rd. And we're going to try to remind y'all too, so that we can, so we can get everybody notified. We could do better in that. We're trying to do better.
We'll help
so that everybody knows.
We'll help YouTube with the notifies from here.
Yeah, I'll try to get some tweets out.
Birthday weekend, sweets.
Whose? Oh, nice.
Andrew Rogers' birthday weekend.
All right, we're gonna have to remember that.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well,
Alrighty.
thank you for everybody that came to hang out, and the super chats and the gifted memberships. That always helps out a lot. And the support to Greg here for designing this whole kit, which is awesome. But hopefully you had at least an entertaining time talking about whatever it is we talked about. I don't even remember what we did on this stream, but we built stuff, and that's the point. I only used the hammer a little. So that's it for today. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Hopefully everybody has a great weekend. Stay warm. I'm going to try to do the best. No frostbite. No whammies. Go. So there we go. Anything from you?
No, thank you, everybody, for coming. And we're going to see you on the 3rd.
Awesome.
Thank you. Nice talking with everyone.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.